So this was 3 months before I even entered seminary, and my pastor at the time was trying to teach me a valuable lesson on how to be obedient and to listen to the bishops and the popes. And at the time, I was at an age where I was like, why do we got to listen to anybody? Why? I don't understand. And so literally that week, I told my pastor that I was going to go on vacation, and I didn't really tell anybody, well, except my family. And so my pastor got so upset because he was like, look, when you're a priest, you can't just do whatever you want. I won't lie to you. I didn't understand what he meant, okay? I said, well, why do I need to tell you? Why do I need to tell the bishop? Like, why can't I just go on vacation? And he said, because when you're a priest, you have to learn obedience. I didn't understand that. Fast forward a couple years now, and you all know St. Faustina, right? You all know St. Faustina. So in her diary, for those who don't know, St. Faustina was the great secretary of divine mercy. Jesus appeared to her, and the image was shown to her. So many things were shown to her. So there was an experience where her mother superior told her that she wasn't allowed to do something. And Jesus, though, in her meeting with Jesus, Jesus said, I want you to do the very thing that Mother Superior told you not to do. What do you think she did? She obeyed Mother Superior. Okay? So Jesus appears to her, and Jesus says, my daughter, thank you for being faithful. It was a test. I wanted you to see that when you are obedient to Mother Superior, meaning Mother Superior, the bishop, all those people, you are being obedient to me, and you are being faithful. When I read that, it was like everything made sense. I, for sure, as your priest, can't do whatever I want. I can't. There's obedience. But even as a people, the structure of the church is not so much, as much as I say, like personal relationship with Jesus is very important, but God gives us the graces and the gifts and the sacraments through the church. When you look at our first reading, I won't get into what they're struggling with, but imagine, like, when they're Jewish, there was these things that you had to do as a Jew, right? The circumcision, all that stuff. And so the big issue now is, well, what if you're not Jewish and you converted and became Christian? Do you need to do those Jewish things? For us, it's like, well, of course not. But at the time, they had no idea. They had no idea because it was very new. And so they didn't just decide on their own. It says they went to the apostles, so the apostles could decide. So ultimately, St. Peter does what he says, and finally it says, no, they don't have to because God opened up salvation to the Gentile people. That's important for us. Because when you look at the gospel, Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. How many of us have heard that so many times? I am the vine, you are the branches. But what happens as a people who, it's not just you, it's me, we are also, when I say individualistic, like we have our own things. But when Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches, he's not just saying separate from the church, I am the vine, you are the branches. He's saying, I am the vine, you are the branches, but you are my body in the church. It's all connected. Why is this important? Because as human beings, we have a tendency to do our own thing. I'll be very direct with you guys. We do what we want, we go where we want. When we disagree with this, we go there. But God gave us the church to be obedient. And yeah, we can disagree, all that stuff is true. But if we have this idea that we can do whatever we want in the church, my dear friends, we are missing the idea of the church. God has given us the church to help us sail towards heaven. And there is going to be bishops that we disagree with, there's going to be popes that we don't like, but as a whole, God will never abandon the church. And I pray and I hope that we can understand this as a people, that we can love our church. Our church is alive. Bishops and priests, popes come and go. But the Spirit is spirating around the church, protecting the church. Think about 2,000 years. That's how long we've been around, right? And it's going to continue on even after all of us go. The church will continue to be alive. It is our job to love the church, to support the church, and to help other people see the beauty of the Catholic Church.